The small town of Clearwater had always been a tranquil place, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests. Life moved slowly, and the residents liked it that way. Tom had been working late at the gas station as usual. His shift ended at midnight, but he lingered, distracted by an uneasy feeling he couldn't shake. As he stepped outside, he noticed a strange figure stumbling down the road. At first he thought it was just a drunk, but as the figure got closer, Tom realized something was terribly wrong. The figure's skin was gray, its eyes milky white, its clothes were torn and blood dripped from its mouth. Tom's heart raced as he watched it lurch toward him. He backed away, fumbling for his phone, but before he could dial, the creature lunged, its teeth snapping inches from his face. He swung the heavy wrench he always kept by the door, striking the creature's head. It crumpled to the ground, motionless. Over the next few days, the town descended into chaos. More of the dead rose, attacking anyone they could find. Those bitten turned within hours, joining the ranks of the undead. Panic spread like wildfire, and soon Clearwater was overrun. Tom banded together with a small group of survivors: Sarah, a tough-as-nails nurse; Mark, an ex-Marine with a haunted past; and Jenny, a teenager who had lost her family in the first wave. They barricaded themselves in the old church, fortifying it as best they could. Days turned into weeks and supplies dwindled. The constant moaning and shuffling of the dead outside was a grim reminder of their dire situation. The survivors took turns keeping watch, barely getting any sleep. Tension ran high and tempers flared. One night, during Tom's watch, he heard a faint cry for help. Against his better judgment, he unlatched the door and peered outside. A young woman, bloodied and exhausted, stumbled toward him. He pulled her inside and she collapsed in his arms. "My name is Lisa," she gasped. "They took my daughter. Please, you have to help me." Under the cover of darkness, they made their way to the edge of town, where Lisa said her daughter was being held by a group of survivors who had turned violent, preying on the weak. The streets were eerily empty, save for the occasional groan of a zombie lurking in the shadows. They reached the hideout, an abandoned warehouse, and quickly overpowered the guards. Inside, they found a makeshift prison where several children were huddled together, terrified. Among them was Lisa's daughter, Emily. Just as they were about to leave, a horde of zombies, attracted by the noise, descended upon the warehouse. The group fought valiantly, but they were outnumbered. One by one, they fell, until only Tom, Lisa, and Emily remained. Tom knew they wouldn't make it back to the church. With a heavy heart, he led Lisa and Emily to a nearby car and told them to go without him. "You have to survive," he urged, for Emily. As the car sped away, Tom turned to face the approaching horde. He was out of ammo, out of options, but not out of hope. He would fight to the end, giving Lisa and Emily the chance they needed. The first light of dawn broke over Clearwater as Tom stood his ground. The once peaceful town was now a battleground between the living and the dead, and in that silent dawn, Tom knew he had become a part of its tragic history. In the end, it wasn't about survival, it was about sacrifice. And as the sun rose, the last thing Tom heard was the sound of a car engine fading into the distance, carrying with it the hope of a new beginning.